People have powerful feelings about the traffic in Los Angeles. It says something that local officials warned motorists about a temporary roadwork closure on the 405 last year by calling it Carmageddon. Angelenos took the hint, and this weekend they're expected to steer clear of the latest 405 closure, named, of course, Carmageddon 2. That's how it is in L.A., a snarl of overstuffed freeways and commuters who keep their cool, except when they don't. KPCC's Stephen Cuevas has this profile of a punk rocker whose music expresses the insanity of L.A. traffic while extolling the virtues of public transit.
Couple of things you need to know about Eddie Solis. He lives in L.A., loves the band Kiss, and does not own a car.
Being someone who's from L.A., born and raised, and, having a few cars in my past, I saw the city much differently through a different perspective through the eyes of a bus rider.
Want to just go all the way to the back? Sure.
Line 18, Wilshire, Western Station.
Just steps from the front door of his home, across the street from a tortilla factory in LA's Boyle Heights neighborhood, Solis catches a bus that connects him with the city's subway and the commuter train he catches to his day job at an indie record label in Hollywood.
It just opened me up to little neighborhoods, galleries, clubs, bars, just everything. Just seeing what's out there, little pockets of the city.
Solis's journeys aboard LA buses and subway cars informs a lot of the material on The New Los Angeles Part 1, Through the Eyes of a Bus Rider, the latest release by the singer-guitarist band It's Casual. In Solis's vision of a new Los Angeles, people abandon their cars, climb aboard public transit, and rediscover their communities. One song extols the virtues of the LA County Metropolitan Transit Agency's Easy Pass and the urban underbelly it introduces to the rider.
And that's a nod and homage to, the people who know what you could even go cheaper and really beat the system and really steer away from spending money on gas and oil profits and all that. Is all it takes for me to witness racial tension, for me to witness illegal aliens. It's not to paint a negative picture, it's just my perspective of what is seen. Easy pass.
I got a funny backstory.
Off the bus and back on the street, we make our way past a jazz saxophonist playing for pocket change and down a long escalator to catch a train.
So, where are we now?
We're at the Red Line station, the Pershing Square station in downtown LA.
And what's our destination?
We're going to go downstairs another tier, and about 5 minutes we're going to get on the Red Line going northbound.
Okay,
yeah.
Let's go.
The Metro Red Line snakes from North Hollywood to downtown Los Angeles. It's the train that inspired It's Casual's signature tune and spawned a viral internet video. It was partly filmed late at night on a moving train as it hurtles from station to station. Solis thrashes away on his guitar and barks the lyrics, which celebrate the Red Line and call out the congested freeways that coil around Los Angeles.
Este es un tren del Metro Red Line a North Hollywood.
The 210, the 605, the freeways are not so nice. The I-5, the 210, the freeways are not so nice.
The thread that comes out of the record that ties everyone together is just be alive, don't be a victim of having a car.
An MTA spokesman said he couldn't comment on Eddie Solis's furious pro-Metro message, but the Red Line video was a hit at the offices of Move LA.
Eddie's done a good job. Thank you, Eddie.
It's the public transportation advocacy group headed by former Santa Monica Mayor Denny Zane. He liked the juxtaposition of Solis blissfully riding LA public transit in one scene with scenes of the band raging against those notorious freeway jams.
Eddie is all frantic when he talks about highways and so mellow when he's grooving on a skateboard and on the bus and on the Red Line. There's a metaphor for the transformation, from the, oh my God, I just got to get out of the traffic, to, hey, this is cool. I can mellow out.
Or you can blast the tune like Too Many People as you claw your way across Los Angeles by car, bus, or skateboard.
Los Angeles! There's too many people! I want them to go away! Even though every day's afraid!
Too Many People could also be a motto for It's Casual. Over the years, the band whittled itself down to a power duo of Solis and a rotating cast of drummers. So you may think the burly, bearded punk rocker just can't get along with freeways, with people, or his native L.A. Not true.
I love it. I love everything about it. I've traveled throughout the U.S. many times, and I could never look forward enough to coming back. The weather, the different cultures, the landscape. I was just like, you know what? Now I know everyone moves to L.A.
Solis will bring the love and the volume during a Red Line mini tour next month. It's Casual will play a different venue within walking distance of several Red Line metro stops from Union Station to West Hollywood. For the California Report, I'm Stephen Cuevas.
The 210, the 605, freeways are not so nice. The I-5, the 210, the freeways are not so nice. The 101, the 405, the freeways are not so nice. The I-5, the I-10, the freeways are not so nice. The 210, the 605, the freeways are not so nice. The I-5, the I-10, the freeways are not so nice. The red line, 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 the red line. The 210, the 605, the freeways are not so nice. The I-5, the I-10, the freeways are not so nice. The 101, the 405, the freeways are not so nice. The 605, the 101, the 101, the 101, the I-10, the 210, the 605, the 101, the 405, the I-10, the freeways are not so nice. The red line, 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 the red line.
Welcome to the 89th episode of Los Angeles Nista. I'm your creator, producer, and host, Edward Solis, and it's a Boyle Heights episode. My in-studio guest, Olivia Bieta. How are you?
Good. How are you?
I'm doing very well. You know what? It's very, very, very exciting to have you. I wanted to first articulate what you're involved in and what your consulting business is. Actually, you do opbconsulting.com.
Yep.
And let's talk about the backstory to you starting this business and what kind of service you provide.
Okay. Backstory. I think I probably shifted out of the career of cosmetics merchandising right after I finished college. I was like, this is not what I want to do. I was very sure of that.
You surely knew intuitively, like, no.
Yeah, I was like, this is great. I had fun doing makeup, but I don't want to do it for a living the rest of my life. I don't want to. And just real naturally, I got a job working with a frequency doctor. And this came natural to me because the language I grew up with was always alternative healing language. So this particular frequency doctor out of Santa Monica worked with a lot of high-profile clients, and I had a really good repertoire with him. I guess we just connected. So I became his assistant for about 3 years. And I was like 20 at the time, 21. And I learned a lot about frequency and how it relates to disease and how healing relates to frequency as well. And it kind of just opened up this career path. And I started the business in 2000 because I was an independent consultant with him, but working on a daily basis. And it just kind of snowballed from there. I worked with a lot of healing practitioners, teachers, wizards, acupuncturists, dentists, you name it, and then elders, because I'm deeply involved in indigenous roots. So I got connected in different, serendipitous ways. And here I am, I guess, almost 14 years later, and doing a lot of one-on-one healing and doing what I continue to call supporting other artists, whatever their craft is. I want to help them get the administrative stuff out of the way. It's just easy for me to get that and also understand the esoteric language.
So it's administrative output and creative output.
Yeah.
And it's both that make up a successful business.
That's how I looked at it at the time when OPB Consulting started. But it's morphed and changed a lot since then. I've got like multiple modalities under my belt I can't even really count.
Wow.
But what's happened is that this healing art has really become an art. These modalities are my paint, they're my color pencils, or they're my clay. And each person really is the canvas in a way.
I got it. So each person is like, you're on this platform of genre, but you, on each person is the canvas where you practice your art and you succeed at healing.
Yeah, and that person tends to be the modality also. Because a lot of people are familiar with healing or some kind of esoteric way of getting blessed and being healed. And I don't know. Everyone's got their own
perspective of it, right?
Yeah, perspective of it. Mine is quite simple. You can heal yourself. What's in the way of you healing yourself?
Let me stop right there. Can you articulate for us just exactly how powerful the body is and mind and the capability of healing ourselves, and give an example?
Can I articulate how powerful the body and mind are?
Into an area where they could actually be healed without a doctor.
Yeah, I think that we have a direct connection to divine source or creator or the universe. I picture it like a river, okay? And so if rocks or dead animals or broken glass is like in the middle of the river, it's going to impede the flow, okay? If that flow is constant, streaming, vital, energetic,
healthy and abundant,
full of chi, full of prana, the body will react in a very healthy way. It'll heal itself quickly. It'll respond to the mind very quickly. But if it's debris up, which most people are.
The majority are. Huh?
Yeah. Then that becomes a process of removal. And that's a lot of what I do. And that itself falls on a completely different spectrum, okay? That would be like the vertical, and then the other spectrum would be like the horizontal. Did I get that right? Vertical, horizontal.
Right.
Does that make sense? Almost.
It does. No, it does. The bottom line is everything has to do with flow and not being blocked, not having any interruptions, whether it's the water in the ocean or a river or the human body. I always tend to think that the human body, the way we're designed, it's like we're like an antenna. If you pollute the antenna, it's going to block the current.
Yeah, I feel you on that. And then let's look at all the different types of pollution on the horizontal axis, because that goes from very physical, like the core of your body. You've got bones, you've got tendons. There's very physical things that happen.
There's a lot of things.
And then you've got the very other end of that spectrum, which is extremely esoteric. How far does your energy reach back to? Like, what lifetime are we talking about here? Or how far does your energy reach back to when you were in Europe and you did that gig and something changed forever after that gig? What was that? What And so that's called soul retrieval. That's the other end, or soul healing. That's the other end of the spectrum to what's very physical. So when I meet somebody, I'm like, where do we need to start? Is it very physical? Is it very esoteric? Or is it somewhere in the middle? And I usually get a good idea on that based on the symptoms that they're giving me.
Wow. Now let's talk about your event coming up.
Okay.
I want to get people out there to support.
Yeah.
I had a discussion with you, and we were talking about how a lot of people on the West Side are very in tune with these beliefs and ideals, and you're bringing it to the East Side. Explain what your event is and what kind of ideals are going to be in place.
Okay. Yeah. Well, the idea for Vibes, a high-frequency happy hour, was really influenced by plants. Alegría de la Luz, or Alegría Chocolat, Joy Anderson, who founded Alegría Chocolat, came to me with this idea, and we vibed on it right away because we're both like, we love going out and having a good time, but there's also this element of going out that just kind of brings me down or makes me feel icky the next day.
Tell me what that element is.
Well, we talked about a little bit. It's this idea of drinking alcohol and smoking and all that is not good or bad. I don't want to call it
Put
something.
a label on it.
Yeah, I don't want to call it anything, but it's just cause and effect. It literally...
I think they're good.
It feels really good. It feels really good to get opened up, right? It feels really good.
So that's what you're saying, even from your personal experience, it feels good to get opened up.
Yeah,
and
it feels
meet
good.
people and...
Like de-stress, have a drink, smoke something, and you're opening yourself up to more at that point. But then what if you opened yourself up to more without those toxins? Because they are toxins and they do
interrupt your flow.
Yes, unfortunately. And so, and in some cases, they keep you out of your body. And so we had this idea that people could have a good time, and there's a lot of sober people, believe it or not, in Los Angeles who want to go out and have a good time, but are not always finding the right vibe. So that's where this idea came. And then really about vibratory medicine. And she was really into this workshop called Everything is Medicine. And it's true. I mean, anything and everything can be medicine. These words for people can be medicine. So we wanted to bring an atmosphere together where everything there is going to be somehow medicinal or raising the vibration. Can I just talk about vibration really quick?
Yes, please, please.
We need to understand that our bodies are vibrating at like 67 megahertz average.
That's the average?
Right. And then like cancer, these kind of autoimmune diseases, you see people vibrating like 47 lower.
Way lower.
Canned food has no vibratory energy at all. Even dead herbs, dried herbs, have a very low vibratory energy. And we look at things like essential oils or crystals or certain sounds, certain tones of music. All of those are really higher vibratory. Like the highest essential oil is rose oil.
Like sound baths? Like sound healing?
Yeah, sound healing, tuning forks. They go up to 300, 400 megahertz. And this really changes how you feel. I mean, in the moment that you apply either sound or oil or...
May I say something?
Yes.
I know for a fact that felines heal themselves, whether it's internally, like internal or like bones, by purring at certain frequencies. So I know that this is a reality. I know this is a reality. I know that these animals actually do heal themselves by purring at certain frequencies.
Yeah, I mean, this is legitimate.
Are you saying this is just like a bigger example of it?
Yeah, we're looking at it holistically. I mean, it's been legitimized and studied all over, different ways.
It's just everything she's saying.
That's fine.
All the research I've done on cats have always told me that when cats purr at a certain frequency, they're trying to heal something.
That's the truth.
So I was curious if that was in the same vein.
No, I think the animal kingdom is right on target with.
Do you really?
They've never needed us.
They've
never needed us ever.
So that's a great example.
Most animals that have human diseases are fed human food, and
that's why they have the human diseases.
Yeah, and live in human quarters, and
right.
So anyway, so vibration. There's a lot of raw vegans that are really into this because it's like live food means more chi, more life energy. Now, what I'm saying though is, yes, all that's able in an atmosphere by bringing objects into it. But when we figure out how to do that with our mind and the power of focus and thought, it's really miraculous.
Yeah, and I've always had this theory, and it's very self-taught, and it's by the way of feeling. If you're going to eat live food, you're going to feel alive, right? If you eat dead food, you're going to feel dead.
Wow, that's brilliant.
It is, right?
Yeah. That's brilliant.
That is, and I've been like really changing my diet, eating lots of fruits and vegetables.
Yeah.
That's brilliant.
You know, and I feel you're eating live food and you feel alive. And I eat less meat. You know, I still like my hamburgers once in a while. And
Of
course, you know, but it's really, you know, you eat death, you're going to feel like death. You are what you eat.
Yeah. And part of removing debris is moving dead energy.
Death,
Right.
or a horrible death is what I mean. I'm sorry. When you eat a horrible death, you're going to feel horrible.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, how was the cow treated? That's the question.
Well, that's
asking.
a whole nother question. So the human bodies are pumping at how many megahertz again? 67?
We're typically average of between 60 and 70 megahertz. And you can add to that anytime, like an essential oil that would raise it up to 200 or 250. And it feels really good. So what the idea is come down to ES Studios in Boyle Heights.
And raise your vibration.
And just have a drink and raise your vibration with it instead of lowering your vibration, and still feel opened up, still feel good enough to socialize and talk and have a good time. You know, play with some crystals or some colors, or there's going to be vendors there, a lot of different.
Yeah, let's talk about some of the vendors that this is your event.
I'm co-organizing it with Joy, with Joy Anderson of Alegría de Chocolate. And we've got DJ June there. He's going to be putting like a lot of good vibrational music on, and Soul Garden, I believe, is the name of a duo coming in to do some sound, and there's going to be Yevaria Maya Well there, and everybody who kind of makes their own jewelry, craft, holiday stuff. At the same time, readers, if you want your tarot cards done, iridology, if you want your eyes read. I do healing arts work like that, but this time I'm going to be at the bar. I'm not going to be doing readings there.
Right.
I'm going to be at the bar serving it up.
Right.
I'll be at the bar too.
Yeah. Exactly.
So let's talk about let's just cap off the vibration conversation we had. Now, are you saying that the average human, that's the average megahertz?
Yeah, I mean, a lot of people are vibrating lower than that.
Most are.
Yeah.
Right.
So that's the zombie kind of feeling you get.
Can you somehow gauge? Like, is there a way to actually measure someone?
Yeah. Yeah. There's devices that'll do it for you, and it all depends on what they're measuring you up against. Like I use a scanner to find out what kind.
Scanner?
Yeah. It's called a Zyto. It's like a lie detector test, and it's asking your body questions that your subconscious will react to yes or no, yes or no, yes or no.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And I do that to help find out the proper supplements and vitamins, antioxidants somebody might need. A lot of people just do muscle testing. It's a yes or no process. That's old school. You know, new school is like we've got technology to assist us and spit out the answers faster. But yeah, I worked with that gentleman, like I was telling you, in my early 20s. And he had a whole system of measuring disease and frequency, but it was his system. So you'd be measured up to what his data sheets say.
Right.
So, but yeah, and it's something I can ask that question when I'm doing a session with somebody, like, are they between 30 and 40? But it's not really relevant. It's nothing to get too, tripped out on. Like, where am I vibrating at? No, well, yeah, you want to ask that question, but you don't want to worry about the details of that. You want to look at the bigger picture.
Like, how do you truly feel?
Yeah, how do you feel?
Can you really,
Do you feel dead or alive? And
right.
if you're looking for somebody else to make you feel alive, then you must be feeling pretty dead.
Right.
Yeah, and that's just basically what it is. It's energy that's either moving, and that's why I was kind of telling you, like, I'm not this kind of aura reader. I'm more like, where's movement happening? Because like I said, if it's a river, it should be flowing. I don't care about the colors. Those come and go.
Constantly.
And
right?
we can bring them in anytime. Bring me purple now. It's going to show up. But what's happening in the flow of your life, and are you moving in the direction that you want to? Because everybody's got their dream, right?
Right.
And so most people are like, I don't feel like I'm reaching my dream. I don't feel like I'm myself. And that's where the energy work really gets potent.
A lot of people are not self-fulfilled. They're very stagnant. And even if they are productive with a job or is doing something, they're doing something they don't want to do. Yeah. And they're not passionate about it. Truly living out your dreams, like what you're here to do, I believe is, priceless.
Mm-hmm.
And there's not only that, it's the self-fulfillment. Like, I think if one has the opportunity and the ability to express themselves through music and art or words or anything, that's self-expression. That's therapy.
It is.
To release, And I'm sure, I'm really curious, like taking someone, that has no outlet to express themselves versus someone who does, like what the vibration is. I think the person that does not release and express themselves would most likely maybe just be kind of in a depression.
Not necessarily, because expression can come in a lot of different ways, not always in
art.
In art. It could come in the form of prayer for a lot of people.
That's how they release.
That's how they release. And then also in the form of meditation, that you and I would never know what's happening in their meditation, but there's an expression happening, or there's a fulfillment or a fuel that's happening. And I think for artists, I mean, myself included, we kind of get fueled off of like other people and what's happening, but also as a healing artist or as a spiritual being, the ultimate fuel is going to come from divine source. And that's where the ultimate music gets inspired from. And all, like I was watching the Marley documentary yesterday, and it was kind of that thing. Like he got really inspired and thrown off by a lot of people he was interacting with, but his real deep stuff came from when he thought and contemplated the state of the world. And that's something that you're contemplating and discussing with your higher source. That's something when you're like, I don't know, I should assume this of you, but like when you're here doing this, you're looking at a bigger picture, a global audience that could kind of vibrate and get in tune with what's happening in LA and feel like it's a good thing, feel like it's opening up doors and areas of perception. And that's between you and your source. That's like your mandate, no?
Exactly. Yeah, the whole intent is to show people LA one episode at a time and say, hey, if you come here without a car or the means to rent a car, you could still see it through public transportation, which leads and is attached to a green footprint because you're not polluting. And don't be discouraged. In fact, you have the advantage because you're not paying for parking and looking for parking and are binded. You have all kinds of wiggle room to experience.
And that's like a perfect parallel. Like if you're living on the east side and you're attracted to the west side because everybody there seems happier or like more spiritual or doing better yoga than you, don't go there for it. Cultivate it yourself.
Yeah.
And why,
embody it.
Yeah, and why should we pay $20 to go into an expo where, a bunch of people are offering their services? Like, why isn't that free? And why can't it be a collective artistic endeavor rather than a commercial plot? And that's what's happening on the West Side, quite honestly. I mean, people charge a lot of money for something that we all have a natural ability to do. Right. So OPB Consulting is all about educating. Like, I do a lot of free workshops. And then when I'm actually working one-on-one with people, I'm teaching them how to do it for themselves.
So you're training them so they don't...
If they're ready.
Right. I mean, in a way, you're to get them off and running on their own so they don't have to hire no one and they could
I don't want them dependent on me. Don't be calling me and texting me at 11 o'clock at night.
Right.
Like, I feel like shit. What can I do for myself? Excuse me. But you know what I'm saying? I really want to empower people because for me, that's where it's at. That's my mandate, to empower other people to realize their super being potential. Like, I truly believe that we could be superhuman. We could go deep into the subject of why we're not at this point, but it'll be like...
And we will. We'll bring you in on a Monday night for a 2-hour episode very soon. Well, let's give your website.
Okay, it's www.op, as in Paul, B as in boy, consulting @gmail.com. OPB stands for Olivia Perez Vieira.
And let's talk.
My name.
That's your full name. Mm-hmm. And let's talk about your event again. Let's give the date.
Yeah, December 13th, Friday the 13th, Paradigm Shift. It's going to be a good vibe.
It is.
At Yes Studios on Boyle and 6th.
Boyle and 6th. Whittier.
Whittier and 6th.
Yeah. No, it's 6 Hertz and a Whittier.
Yes, thank you.
Yeah.
And Friday the 13th, 6 to 11. All ages are welcome.
Is there a cover fee?
No cover.
Wow.
Yeah, this is for the community.
Is there any reason not to bring younger people?
Not at all.
It's kid friendly, yeah.
It's kid friendly, and there'll be like a drawing table. They can color mandalas. We're going to have essential oil waters, some Ningxia red juice. It's like ninja juice. You can...
Juice.
Yeah. Talk about performance enhancers. And everything's natural.
Fantastic.
Toxic-free environment. You will walk in and you will literally feel the harmony.
Fantastic.
And so be there.
Well, with that said, thank you for being my guest in the 89th
Thanks
episode.
for having me.
Well, we'll see you on Friday, the 13th.
Thanks.